Hi, I'm a chicken.
Hi, I'm Wolf.
We're the owners of Glycorian Development, and we're here to talk a little bit about what this mod does.
So, Beta Vanilla adds several new origins to Stellaris that allow the players to take on the role of empires from the Glycorian Shogunate universe. It also adds several civics, traditions, technologies, and a pseudo-crisis path that supports the way these empires could be played.
While these features support our story origins, you don't have to use those origins, and all of the other features we've put in are completely usable outside of the main story. So let's take a look at these features before we dive into what the stories actually are.
What we'll do is show them all to you, and just briefly explain what each does, and if you would like to read the specifics of each, they'll be on the screen for you to pause and have a read of.
Let's start with civics. There's one civic, Militant Architects. It'll give you one soldier job per 10 pops on each planet at the cost of housing. Another civic would be Admiralty Memorialists, which gives access to a special building, one for each planet, used to generate influence and unity, and a holding that does the same if you have subjects. Additionally, whenever a level 8 commander dies, you get access to a stronger version of the building. There's also Insectivorous Culture, which grants access to unique technologies that increase farmer output and increases farmers per district at the cost of leader lifespan. Another would be Punitive Justice. This is for the prison societies. It provides significant bonuses to enforcers and converts a portion of the population into criminals housed in work camps, as well as the ability to construct prisons. There's Careless Dumpers, which provides a unique bombardment stance, allowing a civilization to bombard a planet with their bio-waste, causing significant devastation but little actual damage. In addition, upkeep costs are reduced, but at the cost of increased consumer goods consumption. Finally, there's the caste system, which is a unique civic for machine empires that restructures the resource production of certain jobs, such as coordinators and soldiers.
We've added a few species traits, such as Pelted Bodies, which provides a habitability bonus on cold planets, and Cold Blooded, which provides a habitability bonus on hot planets. What we've also done is added some traditions in the form of different categories. We've got the policies category, which includes fascism, a political tradition that focuses on enforcers and provides them a series of bonuses. Communism, another political tradition that transforms bureaucrats into culture workers and provides them a series of bonuses around job production. Socialism, a political tradition that focuses on worker jobs and provides them a series of bonuses. And then a political tradition of our own creation, Shintoism, that focuses on soldiers and provides them a series of bonuses as well.
Another category we've added is the market category. There's the credited market, which is based on a social credit score. It's a trade tradition that focuses on enforcers and provides them a series of trade-focused bonuses. There's protectionism, which is a more secluded, well-rounded trade tradition that takes elements from the other trade traditions, providing small bonuses to enforcers, traders, and general trade output. Finishing this tradition makes commercial pacts with protectionist empires provide a bonus to trade value for everyone involved, but increases the influence cost of diplomatic agreements. There's also Georgism, which is another well-rounded trade tradition that provides stability bonuses to clerks, but with a focus on upkeep production across the board. There's Socialist, which is a trade tradition that focuses on bureaucrats and provides them a series of trade-focused bonuses. Finishing this tradition makes commercial pacts with socialist market empires provide a bonus to consumer goods production for everyone involved. There's also the free market tradition, which is a trade tradition that is a net increase of trade output, but offers a compromise with some of its slots where you lose trade output in favor of a reduction of job upkeep. This is to simulate self-sufficient jobs in a free market. This tradition also increases the trade value of commercial pact signatories with free market empires.
We also have the piety and worship style category, including free piety, a spiritualist tradition that provides some bonuses to priest jobs but also reduces upkeep costs. Then strict piety, a spiritualist tradition that provides greater bonuses to priest jobs but at the cost of higher upkeeps. Public worship, a spiritualist tradition that provides bonuses to priest jobs at a higher upkeep, similar to strict piety, but covering a different concept. And then there's private worship, like strict and free piety. The choice between public worship and private worship is the choice between high upkeep for high bonuses or low upkeep for moderate bonuses.
The next category would be the civility category, which has the civility tradition, which allows biological total war empires or otherwise criminal empires, such as barbaric despoilers, fanatic purifiers, or criminal heritage empires, to remove their locked civics. There's also directive override, which allows a machine total war empire or adjacent empires, such as determined exterminators and rogue servitors, to remove their total war civics.
And then we have the Gestalt specific traditions, the two node traditions. Central provides bonuses to stability and deviancy reduction for Gestalt empires, and Independent allows Gestalt empires to become non-Gestalt. They will always become an imperial authority, fanatic authoritarian, and materialist empire as they move away from hive-mindedness. This feature is unstable at the moment and can cause some problems, but we're working on making it a fun and flavorful. We're working on making it a fun and flavorful mechanic for people to explore.
We've also added some planets, namely planet categories, which we've named less habitable planets. These are a variety of habitable planets such as lunar, Martian, Venusian, carbon, and so on that we've added. These planets are extremely inhospitable to most life, but each of them have unique high-value districts that make them worth colonizing in certain instances.
We've also added some special stars, including reskins for most vanilla binary and trinary stars on the map, the galactic map, to accurately reflect what star classes they are. Some base game star images in the galaxy view have received higher quality images as well. We've included the new star classes such as Y-class sub-brown dwarfs, extremely cold and small dwarf stars now spawn throughout the galaxy. The Institute, for example, which is one of our story origins, spawns in an especially dark part of the galaxy surrounded by multiple of these Y-class dwarf stars. We've added new binary and trinary stars, many modeled after real-life systems. We've added unique quaternary and larger star systems based on real-life systems have been added. For example, a 7-star system has been added similar to the known system of QZ Carinae, which is some 7,500 light years from Earth, consisting of up to 9 stars. We haven't added that one yet, but it's on our list.
Yes. We've also added rare and dangerous stars, such as O-class blue hypergiants, widely known as the hottest and brightest stars in the universe. They generally don't burn for very long compared to other stars. There's also quark stars, which are the progression of a neutron star compression. Quarks are the next smallest stage of matter. There's also Planck stars, which is a further progression of neutron star compression. Planks are the smallest theoretical size possible before a singularity is achieved. There's also disruptive black hole systems, which are a unique quote-unquote binary system containing a black hole that's consuming another star. And then there are TZ objects, which are the result of a red giant star colliding with a neutron star, both surviving and forming a bastardized supergiant.
We've added a few decisions to the game, namely on your capital and not on your capital. For the capital decisions, they're unique to each type of empire. If you're a Gestalt, you'll have specialized decisions. If you're a Megacore, you'll have specialized decisions. And they are to specialize your homeworld and greatly improve its economic value to your empire. We've also added non-capital decisions. All of your colonies, like your capital, have special decisions that allow you to improve the infrastructure on each one based on your technological advances.
Speaking of technologies, we've also added some unique technologies, including terraforming technologies for each of the less habitables. These technologies allow you to improve the value of their unique districts as well as increase the habitability of each of those planets so that you can colonize them without the severe negatives associated with low habitability. There's also communications technologies to improve non-capital decisions. This is to simulate FTL communications, improvements in FTL communications, and simulating cutting-edge technology being implemented into the infrastructure of your various planets.
We've added a few megastructures to go along with some of those terraforming technologies. The previous mentioned technologies also provide kilostructures related to further developing otherwise uninhabitable planets. For example, a tide globe can be built around gas giants, providing an abundant food source. We've also added a few megastructures for rare stars, tied to the Galactic Wonders Ascension perk that can be constructed around some of the particularly dangerous ones. The Atomic Reconstructor is to be built around quark stars, and the Reality Loom is to be built around Planck stars.
We've also added new origins, mainly story-based origins. The first would be the Current Turmoil origin, which is a solar system filled with multiple independent planets, as well as your own starting planet, as well as surrounding planets, including guaranteed habitables filled with independent colonies, some of which are hostile. It includes a 150-year event chain, including a grand finale that sets up a player to either crumble to ruins or emerge the victor of the galaxy. There's the Institute origin, which is an isolated start with no guaranteed habitables, surrounded by a void and a disruptive black hole. It challenges the player to balance a tall empire, but has unique research facilities and galactic-scale research conventions through an extensive crisis tree. There's the ORAS, or Organic Replacement Expedition System, which is a conflicted exterminator empire with a mostly unknown background, at least unknown to the ORAS at this time, as well as a chain of decisions to maintain stability and sanity. There's also the Barbara Godhood origin, which has access to a special mini quantum catapult, and its surrounding planets, including its guaranteed habitables, are filled with hostile independent colonies. This challenges the player to go to war in order to access special technologies, gain bonuses, and keep their bloodlusting marauder empire on the knife's edge away from collapsing to ruin. Finally, we have the Gamolan Convocation, which fights to push back their vulnerabilities in the face of a harsh galaxy.
Yeah, and we have some future intentions with the mod. Besides those that are currently implemented, we're wanting to add more origins that are canon to the setting of the Glycorian Shogunate, including the Garden League, who will have access to a wide variety of unique and shareable technologies. Amongst some of those technologies is a series of specialized ship components that offer an alternative method to ship design. We also want to add a species of xenobiological flora, which currently does not have a name. This species would focus on genetic technologies and creating space flora and fauna. Certain existing mechanics, such as storms and stellar auras, would be adapted to simulate aggressive and defensive use of advanced genetics to create environmental hazards. We also want to rework the Aura's origin to have unique espionage operations and be more unseen enemy oriented than outright Skynet mechanics. This will involve adding more operations for every faction, with specifically flavored and more powerful versions for the Auras. In terms of origins, we also want to re-add the Carborn and Prodigal Moon origins. These existed in the game in 3.14, and they're non-canon, but include features that allow the player to toy around with some of the newly implemented game mechanics, like our specialized planets.
We also would like to add dangerous space weather patterns that are more than just static modifiers. For example, weather events. This would likely be a feature that is implemented alongside the aforementioned flora species. We would like to implement more traditions, including Gestalt traditions, such as Gestalt ideological traditions, pantheonic traditions for spiritualist empires, more ethic specific traditions like the piety and worship traditions, and more variation in the same vein as market and policy traditions. We'd like to explore more interesting ideas through civics. And finally, we'd like to add additional content based on user requests, provided it doesn't compromise the storytelling of the mod. So please feel free to make your suggestions in the comments or on Discord.
Yeah, we'd like to thank you for checking out our mod, and hopefully this has been very informative of what it does.
Yes, thank you.